What's up, dudes? It's your buddy, 5 Bar Doom, and I just wanted to make a little video talking about some different strategy stuff and some different things I've been thinking about foosball-wise. First of all, kick it off and say I'm still thinking about going to TKO. I don't know if I'm going to go or not. I just have no idea. It really depends on what happens and how I'm feeling at the time. It might be a last-second decision, but I am looking for partners that might be interested. So if you're a partner that thinks we might be able to win something, hit me up, and that will make me more likely to go for sure. I want to talk a little bit about reading the defense and how I'm shooting on the 3-bar a bit, because I think it's pretty important. And let me walk you through. Here's what I'm doing on the 3-bar a lot of the time now. I'm basically, set up and I'm only shooting a roller. So I'll set up my roller, and basically what I do is I try to just stare at the dot, like at, either like the very farthest dot on one side, or maybe a little bit inside, like between the last two dots. And basically I just try to get my vision focused right there. And when I execute my shot, I'm trying to make sure the ball, when I strike the ball, it strikes the ball way out there. You know what I mean? Because the more I watch these replays, and the more I kind of see when I'm successful and when I'm not successful on the 3, getting the ball out on the long is just, it's so super important. The difference between going like 3/4 long or, just hitting like a legit super long is super. It's like, it's everything, man. You know what I mean? So I'm really just trying to focus. And I think it's like executing the ball, executing a long and making sure it's actually like really long is actually it's a lot more important than reading the hole as well. Because, like getting the ball on goal is obviously like of utmost importance. If you don't hit the ball on goal, you're not going to score. Like, obviously, it could slop in off a guy or whatever, but, essentially, you're not going to score if you don't hit the ball on goal. But hitting the ball super long is just so important. And so many times, like, I'll pick a hole, I'll go long, it'll be just super, super long, especially on my pull side, because my pull side's kind of hitting a lot better right now. And they'll be over there, and it'll still go in. You know what I mean? So it's just a question of, like, if you hit that ball super long, good things happen. And I think it's a lot more important to focus on hitting the ball super long and executing your shot more than reading the defense. Like, I think, reading the defense is, something you need to do, obviously. But I think it's much more important to focus on hitting the hole. And just thinking about, I did an interview with Rob Atha when I was doing my podcast, the 2 and Barbecue podcast. I don't think you can still find it. I think I posted a couple of them, the old audio clips on YouTube. I need to go back and post the old post. There's some pretty good interviews. But I was talking to Rob. He mentioned basically just picking a hole and waiting on it. As opposed to you just set up your shot, you don't know where you're going to shoot, and then you're kind of just reading the defense as you go, and then you see a hole and go for it. I do think I've had more success kind of picking a hole and just waiting on it. And I think if you do pick a hole and just focus all your energy on executing a perfect shot towards whatever that hole is, one thing is it makes it a lot easier for your eyes. I've been thinking a lot about where your eyes are focusing on the table. I think it's a lot more important than you think. So for me, staring at the dot on the one side of the table where I'm going to shoot, I think it's really helpful. And when you pick a side for your roller, or you pick okay, I'm going to go long, or I'm going to go middle on my pull or whatever, and just really staring at that and focusing on it, I think it helps you execute. And if you pick a hole ahead of time, then you don't have to be looking all over the place, and maybe, and you're not just looking at the defense and then executing. I prefer to look down that line of dots when I'm executing my shot. I'm not looking at the goal. I'm looking down the line of dots. And you're kind of just reading the defense like out of the periphery, And so I think like if you do, you're shooting a roller, you pick a hole ahead of time, and then you focus everything on just hitting that one hole. To me, that's a good strategy. You know what I mean? And you might say like, well, what if that hole never opens? You know what I mean? They just block that hole the whole time. I think there's a couple of things you can do about that. One is what I like to think about as like a bailout hole. And to me, it's typically middle. So it's like if you're, okay, I'm waiting on the push side. Wait. Rock. It's never opening. Oh, I'm getting low on time. Wham, rip a middle. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you're like 50-50. Because like, let's say if you feel like the guy is just stuck on that push side, he's not getting off it. If the other man's moving around, even if you're not really paying attention to it, if you just rip a middle, it's like 50% he's on the middle or not. You know what I mean? It's like a coin flip type of situation. Which on your 3-bar, it could be worse. You know what I mean? Especially as like a last resort. So that's like one strategy is to have like a bailout hole where you're 100% focused on this hole, or maybe you just rip the other side. You know what I mean? And you're just not completely laser focused on it with your eyes. That's fine too. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, I'm going to stare at that push side. I'm 100% focused on hitting that push side. Rock. I don't see it. I'm going to keep waiting. Rock. It's still not there. Okay, I'm just going to blind rip a pull side. I think that's a fine strategy. I think another strategy is, timeout. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? I bet you're not using your timeouts. Nobody's using all their timeouts. You know what I mean? So just like focus on that one side. Focus. Rock. I'm waiting for the hole to open. I'm getting low on time. The hole's not feeling open to me. I'm waiting. Okay, timeout. You know what I mean? I think that's a reasonable strategy as well. So maybe I guess that's all I got as far as 3-bar. Well, okay, maybe not. So that's like one topic on 3-bar. Another topic I want to talk about that is really important, and I don't know how much I've talked about in the past, is like reading the Bob. You know what I mean? And I don't mean Bob Navarra, although I am trying to read his defense when I play him out here in Detroit. But basically what I mean is when you have like the goalie rods, a lot of times what will happen is the goalie will move in like a rhythmic motion. You know what I mean? So like, look, this is like top view of the foosball table, right? And you got like your 2-bar and you got your 3-bar. And it's like the defense might just rock like this, right? And sometimes they're rocking really fast. Sometimes they might rock a little bit slower. And they'll also kind of do that back and forth bobbing motion when you're just setting up the ball. And when you like you catch a pass on your 3-bar and you're kind of rolling it over to set up your pull or set up your roller, a lot of times you will see this kind of rhythmic rocking motion. And what I do with my dinks is I'm able to take advantage of that because people will just kind of do this autopilot, do this just kind of standard rock, just bob back and forth. And if I see that they're doing that back and forth, what you kind of do is you wait for the like apex of the rock, like the farthest distance, and then you can take advantage of it by like shooting. Like you don't necessarily have time to like wait and like see the hole open. But if you kind of notice like, oh, they're bobbing, and you think at some point there is that little area where you can like dink it in the corner, or for example, like you're setting up your pull shot and they're doing the same thing. They're doing this back and forth bobbing motion. You're not really like fully set up to shoot your pull yet, but you are getting it set up, and you get it set up. Maybe the ball's too far forward, maybe the ball's too far back, and you're gonna have to adjust it or whatever. If the defender's just doing this back and forth bob at that point, you can wait until they're like bob, and they come to their maximum point away from the straight and then just blindly pop the straight. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I do with the dink. Although I'll do it kind of on the near side of the table with the third man, and I'll kind of see them bobbing, and I'll wait, if I wait till I see them move away to that farthest away point, and that's when I pounce on it. You can kind of do the same thing with a pull shot. You're setting it up. You're not quite set up yet. They're doing this bob. You wait till they're away, boom. You know what I mean? Then pop it when you feel that final, that farthest away point on the bob is happening. Now, the same thing is true on the 5-bar. Because like 5-bar, the guy's D'ing you up on the 5-bar, and a lot of times they're just like moving really fast like this, right? But that is like another one of these bobs. You know what I mean? So it's like open. That's kind of like how you gotta think about it. To me, is like when is this hole gonna be open? Like a lane. You know what I mean? It's like in slow motion. It's like they're on the wall. It's open. They're on the lane. It's not open. They're on the wall. It's open. They're on the lane. It's not open. Now it's not gonna be that easy where it's that slow. But it is something to mentally think about, where you can they're moving like this, they're like this, and it's like, open, pass. You know what I mean? Like you can see that rhythm. You can count the beats in your head, and you can kind of tell okay, they're about to move away from the hole. You've seen them do this rhythmic motion a bunch of times, even if it is fast. And then when and you kind of just time it, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, they're about to go. They're like this, and then you can pass when you feel that bob happening. So if you're not currently thinking about reading that bob pattern, then I would think about it. Another one I guess I just got a bunch of strategy stuff today. Another one I was thinking about, specifically on doing a brush pass, because somebody asked me the other day, it's like, how do you read? Because and typically it will pass pretty high percentage on the 5-bar, and somebody asked me what are you looking at? What are you reading? One of the things is this bobbing thing I'm talking to you about. Another thing is what I will call, I'll call it the magnetic effect of the wall. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is you're setting up your brush pass, and the ball is all the way as far away as you're going to set it up, basically on the second man. You know what I mean? Not on you're going to pass with the very near side 5-bar man. We're talking about near side wall pass. If you do a far wall pass brush, the same stuff applies. You're just going to have to mentally reverse what I'm saying. But I'm talking about a near wall brush pass. So you're doing a near wall brush pass. You set it up on the second man. Oh, and that's another thing too. Don't set it up on the middle man and move it and roll it over and then hit it with the near man. And the reason why is you have to roll it too fast. So you're taking away time within that sweet spot where you're able to pass it. If you start it on the second man and you kind of try to roll it as slow as you can, which is what I do, then you're giving yourself the most opportunity to pass it. Because you'll have a full second or maybe less than a second, but you kind of stretch out that window of where the ball is kind of high up, you can still pass it. It's drifting. Now it's kind of in the perfect middle spot. You can pass it. It's still drifting. Now it's getting a little bit closer to the wall, but you can still potentially do an up brush and a wall pass. So moving the ball really slow is key. But what I mean by the magnetic effect of the wall is when you have a brush pass and you serve it to yourself. So you move it from the second man, you start rolling it, and now you're kind of hovering and you're able to pass it with that first man. The closer the ball gets to the wall, the more likely your opponent is to just post it on the wall. You know what I mean? And everybody has kind of different breaking points of when they do that, of how, but almost everybody, what will happen is the ball will be rolling towards the wall, rolling towards the wall, rolling towards the wall. And when it gets to a certain point, your opponent will just kind of stick their man on the wall. So, and that's what I'm calling the magnetic effect of the wall. So if you can kind of see when that happens with your opponent, where like if you're rolling the ball down and then it gets to that, whatever that line is that your opponent has, where they're going to post it on the wall, that's when you upbrush. You know what I mean? And then the reverse is also true. So here's what I like to do when I'm really passing good. What I like to do is I set up on the second man on the 5 bar. I kind of, I tap it and roll it as slowly as I can. It kind of rolls through that sweet spot where I have a little bit of time to pass it. Then it starts getting close to the wall. Before it stops moving, I will then tap it with the near man to bounce it off the wall and get it rolling back up through the sweet spot. So it's like, tap it to the wall. At that point, your opponent a lot of times is going to be posted on the wall. And then it starts rolling up through the sweet spot. Now, the reverse is true of my magnetic effect thing, is once the ball rolls high enough up off of the wall, if your opponent was on the wall, was just sitting there on the wall, once the ball comes up to a certain point, they're almost guaranteed to come off the wall. Or even if they just see you pass, they see that like passing kind of motion, they're going to come off the wall. You know what I mean? So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll essentially pass like into the man. Because like I'll see him on the wall, the ball will be coming up off the wall, and it'll be coming pretty far up off the wall, and I'll go wall. You know what I mean? And then they're like, and they try to swing at the lane pass, but guess what? It's not a lane pass. I still went wall. You know what I mean? So that's just something to think about. So, what do you think of these strategy things, dude? I would love to hear your comments. If you have any questions about this stuff or you have other ideas, please post them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. The other thing I want to talk about is I'm going to get some coaching. So, for Christmas, my lovely wife Beth got me a couple sessions with Brandon Moreland. And I talked to Brandon yesterday. I'm going to do a session either like tomorrow or like this Friday or like early next week sometime. Basically like 2 half-hour sessions with him. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't know what he's going to say. I honestly have no idea, dude. You know what I mean? I think there's things that I need to work on. Obviously, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff I need to work on. So, but I'm definitely curious to see what he's going to say. I just have no clue. It sounds like he's probably going to watch one of my videos and then kind of like just take a look at it and see if there's, things he sees that I can immediately improve upon. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll keep you guys posted. We're going to do it over Zoom or something like that. And I'm going to get a video of it. I'll talk to Brandon and see, like, I don't know if he's cool with me, like, sharing the video or, I don't know how it is, dude. Sometimes these pro masters, like, and I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, but sometimes people are a little secretive with their foos knowledge. You know what I mean? I don't get that impression from, like, Brandon specifically, but I just know other people. Like, for example, there's this one pro master that I will not name that I went to his house one time. And he ran me through this practice routine, and I'm just not, and this is like many years ago, but I'm still not going to talk, and me and Beth do this thing all the time, but I'm not going to talk about it because I just know he wouldn't want it getting out there what it is. It's not that big of a deal, but I just know people are kind of weird about it, and they got their own little secret things, and that's fine. Like, if you want to share your secret thing with me and it's a secret, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Obviously I like to share all the knowledge I have with you guys, and I want to help you improve your game as much as possible. And especially with the folks in Michigan, if I help the people in Michigan get better, that's doing nothing but helping me get better, because I need better people here playing with me. You know what I mean? So I actively want you guys to play better, which means you're going to beat me more. But that's fine, because then I can try to get better and still beat you, and now we're all just better players. You know what I mean? I think especially with your local scene, I just feel like that's the attitude you need to have, is that like you're working to get better, but you're also like working to make your opponents better, because we're just all trying to, build the foosball scene and crush. And then when we go to play at a tournament, ideally the people in your local area are winning the tournaments because we're all just fucking badass. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have some coaching sessions with Brandon, and I will let you know how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. I've never tried to get any kind of formal coaching before. So I'm curious. I just have no idea how it's going to work, or, if I'll get anything out of it or what I'll get out of it. I assume I will get some good stuff out of it, but I just don't even know what that'll be. So, I'm curious to see how that goes. So that's it. Well, actually, I guess it's not it. The other thing I want to say is I made a video on Monday where I was kind of complaining about the tournament and all this stuff, and maybe I was a little bit harsh on what happened there. So maybe I went off a little. Maybe I was a little bit harsh about it. I think mostly I was frustrated because I was just getting shut down so bad in the finals. And then the opposing team did something that kind of like messed up my partner's defense. Like, I don't know if it was that was their strategy to intentionally mess up his defense, but it did work. What they did certainly wasn't illegal or anything, but it definitely just annoyed the shit out of me because A, I'm not doing that great. B, my partner was blocking pretty good, and then they said something that made him completely change, basically like saying he was resetting and stuff, that kind of just made him completely change his defense, and in a noticeable manner. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks, you know what I mean? But realistically, nobody did anything illegal or wrong. It is what it is, you know what I mean? And foosball is a game of strategy, and that is just one additional strategy to dominate, you know what I mean? So I can't say anything but good things about, Fuad and Jim. We played, and they played great. We barely beat them. It was meat nut, so obviously it could have gone either way. And I was just kind of reflecting on my video from Monday. I was like, maybe I was a little bit harsh there. And really, like, my frustration was due more to my lack of skill than anything else, you know what I mean? And just completely getting shut down on a 3. Like, when you'll see those matches, you'll see like Fawad just absolutely dominated me on defense, and it's hard to take, and when that type of thing happens, it's fucking brutal, dude. Like, it just sucks, if you've ever been on the 3-bar, had a million 3-bar possessions, and just get completely shut down. It's a very humbling experience. And my 3-bar has been better lately, so I haven't had a lot of that lately, and it really hurt, you know what I mean? It was brutal to deal with. I was happy we eventually won the match, but it was absolutely brutal. So I think that's about it for today. If you're going to TKO and you want to partner up, let me know. I have no partners right now. I might go, I might not go. They even have these like sit and go style tournaments where they're like, this is a pretty cool thing they're doing at TKO. I haven't talked about it before, but what they're going to do is they have 4 tables. They're only going to reserve for these, like, they don't call them sit and goes. Sit and go is like a online poker type tournament where like they would just have people sign up, and then once the tournament is full, it would immediately start. But they're basically doing the same thing with DYPs, where I think it's like a 16-man tournament. That's just 16. So 16 people. Once everybody signs up, and you can't sign up unless you're not in anything else. Once those people sign up, this tournament starts. It runs on those 4 tables, and it's like whatever percent payout, 75% payout, or something along those lines. It's actually a pretty cool format. And I'm kind of thinking, like, even if I do go down to TKO and I don't have partners in some of these tournaments, I could just play some of these sit and goes, and that would honestly be fine too. And it might even be better. You know what I mean? Not because the more I've been thinking about it with these sit and go tournaments, the only people that can play in these tournaments are ones that are not already in another tournament. So if you have the very best players, they're in tournaments. You know what I mean? They're going to be in tournaments the whole time. So you essentially have like this little small tournament that's going to run, who you pretty much guarantee the very best players are not going to be in it, or a lot of them will be excluded because they're in other events. So it's possible that they're kind of soft tournaments, and you could actually make some money playing those tournaments. I have no idea if that's the case. It's kind of just a theory I have, but it definitely makes it a little bit easier to go to the tournament without some partners and just say like, well, whatever, dude. I got a tournament like way later today. Maybe I don't have to scramble to get partners for this other tournament. I'll just play some of these sit and goes, and there you have it. So anyway, yeah, still thinking about going to TKO. I might go, I might not. But if you want to play, hit me up. That's it for today's little podcast strategy thing or whatever this is. I'm 5 Bar of Doom. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. I had a lot of different strategy stuff today. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.